I'd like to call to order the St. Charles City Council meeting for Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Tracy, please call the roll.
Sokalis?
Here.
Bala?
Here.
Leitner?
Here.
Bongard?
Here.
Bancroft?
Here.
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrola?
Here.
Werbo?
Here.
Besner?
Here.
Weber?
Here.
Tonight's invocation will be given by Alderman Rita Later.
This evening, following the day commemorating the life of Martin Luther King, may we never forget one of the most important messages he left for all of us, that all men and women are to be respected and treated with dignity regardless of their circumstances. As the elected officials in our community, we ask for the wisdom and the direction we need so that our work and decisions will be for the betterment of all. Amen.
Alderman Werthal, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, this evening I do welcome Al Watts, Community Engagement Director for Historic Preservation, to the podium to give his presentation. Thank you.
All right, to take this off?
Yes.
So you can actually see my face. Well, thank you, Madam Mayor and Council, for giving me this opportunity to talk with you today. As Mayor Vitek said, I am Al Watts, the new Community Engagement Director for Preservation Partners of the Fox Valley. Tonight, I want to outline how our nonprofit organization has been serving the Fox Valley for the last 48 years, why historic preservation generates economic growth for St. Charles, and how we can be a resource for you. So Preservation Partners, we champion a sense of place for St. Charles, Geneva, and Batavia. Our mission is to offer heritage, education, and promote the preservation of the Fox Valley's rich architectural and historic resources. We accomplish this through education experiences at 5 historic properties that we operate and as a voice to preserve Fox Valley's history. So the 2 photos that you see here are, I'm sure you will know, the Arcata. The one on the right is from 1926. The one on the left is from more recently. You probably, just looking at those pictures, can think of the last time you were in there. It kind of brings back some memories, I hope. Maybe you're thinking about a show you're going to see there soon. And minor changes have been made to the building, as you can see. But today, the Arcata remains familiar. You feel connected to it. It has character. It's unique. It is St. Charles. So look across the river, or across the Riverside Avenue there. You can see the Osgood Hunt Morse block along East State Street. So on the right is from 1916, and the left is from today. You can probably remember going to some of the shops there. I believe Burger Drug was there for a long time. The buildings have been through a few more changes than the Arcata, but the character of that building today is still there. You can still recognize it as St. Charles when you see that building. If you experience any emotions when you're seeing those pictures from the past and today, which I hope that it stirs up a little bit of something, it's more than nostalgia. In fact, it's a feeling that's called sense of place. When a community provides a sense of place, people will visit there, they'll move there, and they'll stay there. Communities with a sense of place are communities that grow. And history is what creates that authentic connection to place, that sense of place where people want to live, work, and visit. Now, St. Charles residents and visitors don't know anything about the history. They're not going to feel any emotional connection. They're not going to want to visit. They're not going to want to live here. So education is a very critical part of history, and that's what we do. Like I said, we create educational experiences about Fox Valley history that strengthens the area's sense of place. So in St. Charles, we operate the Durant House. It was built in 1843, and the Shoals School that was built in 1872. They're both in Leroy Oaks. I hope all of you know where it is or been there or seen it, gone through. We're open as often as we can be. In Geneva, we lead tours at the Fabian Villa, 1907 Frank Lloyd Wright designed home, and the Fabian Japanese Garden, which was designed around 1910. Then our offices are in that far right corner building on the bottom there, the Beef House, which was built in 1850. So it's kind of cool. I get to work in a building that's been here for over 170 years. Beyond our museum doors, We work on educational programming with a lot of different entities in St. Charles. We work with the St. Charles History Museum. We also work with the Kane County Forest Preserve. First of all, we serve as a voice preserving local history. We offer education on maintaining a historic property. We are a resource for owners on local ordinances and available tax benefits. And we also help with creative ideas for creative adaptive reuse, which is repurposing a building that from what it was to something else that's useful. So an example of that, is, just to give you an example of what that is, the old McCormick Oil gas station is now the St. Charles History Museum. So it's something that was a gas station is now something completely different, but the building is still there, the history is still there, the feeling of St. Charles is still there. Now, our efforts to champion a sense of place for St. Charles are reinforced when the built environment is preserved as well as possible. And it turns out that investing in historic preservation has the added benefit of driving economic growth for St. Charles. So according to research by University of Pennsylvania economist Donovan Rickema, property values in buildings and adjacent to historic districts have higher property values than those that are not. Visitors tend to spend more time and money in historic districts than non-historic districts. Historic preservation creates jobs in the community, it saves the city money by utilizing existing infrastructure, and it saves the environment. I mean, the greenest building built is the one that's already built. You don't have to tear it down and build it up again if it's already there. Just repurpose it. So to kind of give you a summary of how this kind of works is that the education of St. Charles history and the preservation of its buildings creates a sense of place where people want to live, work, and visit, which drives revenue to the city. So my goal with you tonight is just to start a conversation. And we've been around for 48 years. Most of you have probably heard of us. I'm kind of introducing myself. I'm new to the position. I'm just going on my 5th month doing this. And we want to try to help maintain an authentic sense of place for St. Charles because we know that generates economic growth. Sometimes there are difficult choices when it comes to older buildings, and we can help. We can bring regular information to you so that when those times come up, you have the information that you need to make those decisions. For example, we can come here and give a little 5-minute tutorial on local history. There's always something about local history you probably never heard of before. We can also talk about the economic rewards of historic preservation. We can talk about the state and federal tax benefits that are available for historic properties, both homes and for buildings. And we can also talk to you about creative adaptive uses for historic buildings. And we're totally free because we're nonprofit. So with your permission, at some point, I'd like to return in a couple months, continue this conversation, talk about our resources that we have available, maybe talk about something very specific like economic growth or tax benefits. Happy to also answer one-on-one questions with any of you at any time, and all my information is right there. But the main thing is our goal is for you to have the information that you need to maintain St. Charles, the unique prominence and character that St. Charles has. So with that, does anybody have any questions I can answer?
Go ahead, Brian.
No, I just want to say thank you for coming out and speaking, and I look forward to having you come back to the council.
Great. Thanks, Brian.
Again, thank you for, go ahead.
I was just going to echo, I mean, Brian and I, we met a couple months ago, so
Right.
enjoyed your information. History is very important to me. I'm a member of the museum, of course, and look forward to working with you.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Thank you for coming today, Al. We appreciate it.
I can give out a card to everybody if that's all right?
You can give them to Tracy. We'll pass them out then after the meeting.
Great.
And thank you for being a resource in our community. I know we have representation from Preservation Partners on the Historic Commission, so
Yes.
we'd like that to continue. So thank you again for being here this evening.
Yep. Well, I go to those meetings almost every time, so.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along. The Omnibus Vote, Alderman Bancroft.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the omnibus vote for the agenda Tuesday, January 18th, 2022.
Second.
Moved by Bancroft, seconded by Paylor. Tracy, please call the roll.
Besner?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Sulkaitis?
Yes.
Bala?
Yes.
Hayleitner?
Yes.
Bonegard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrola?
Yes.
Wireball?
Yes.
Item 9, a motion to approve and authorize issuance of vouchers from the Blue List expenditure approval list for the period of 12/13/2021 to 12/26/2021 in the amount of $34.44.
Mayor, let the record show that I'll be abstaining from this vote due to conflict of interest.
Got it.
So
Move for
moved.
approval.
Moved by Wireball, seconded by Hayleitner. Any questions? Tracy, please call the roll.
Besner?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulkaitis?
Yes.
Bala?
Yes.
Hayleitner?
Yes.
Bonegard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Petrola?
Yes.
Wireball?
Yes.
Thank you. New business, item A, Chief.
I have 3 items this evening. Item A is a recommendation to approve a proposal for an H1 liquor license application for the Graceful Ordinary located at 3 East Main Street in St. Charles. This appeared earlier today at the Liquor Control Commission. It advanced with a 2-0 advancement. There was 2 members that weren't present, but we did have a quorum. Just to refresh the council's memory, this classification was codified about 6 months ago. It's a catering license. Graceful Ordinary approached us. They have an event coming this weekend, which is why this was kind of rushed through today at Liquor and then tonight at City Council. It allows them to leave their brick and mortar facility and then serve elsewhere alcoholic beverages, so long as they bring a Bassett-trained server with them, and then there's a food component as part of that. The H license also allows them to do this elsewhere for the remainder of the license year, as opposed to an E license, which would be a one-off or a one-by-one event. So Chris Curran is here from Graceful Ordinary, as well as myself. Either of us can answer any questions you might have.
And I think, Chief, the event for this weekend is for the not-for-profit, the Fox Valley Rugby Association. Is that correct? Okay.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Any questions? Brian?
Yeah, I'm just curious, what kind of events do you plan on catering to?
Just any sort of personal catering event, people's homes. This one is at the Baker House, so it's part of the Park District. Places like that within the city where we can do that.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Mayor, just for the record, let it show that I will be recusing myself for statutory purposes, regardless of how much I really appreciate
Move for approval.
Weber will second.
Moved by, was that Wireball? Petrola? Second by Weber. Any other questions? Okay. Tracy, please call the roll.
Besner?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulkaitis?
Yes.
Bala?
Yes.
Hayleitner?
Yes.
Bonegard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Lencioni?
I'm recused from this discussion.
Petrola?
Yes.
Wireball?
Yes.
Go ahead, Chief. Item B.
Okay, so the next 2 are somewhat adjoined, but I'll take them separately because they are at separate locations. So item B is a recommendation to approve a licensing agreement with Airboat Productions LLC for the use of the former police facility located at 211 North Riverside Avenue in St. Charles. So as you recall, this appeared before you 2 weeks ago at City Council, and then afterwards I had a conversation with counsel from the city, Mr. Peppers. He directed me to entertain or reach out for the applicants and the petitioners and seek a licensing agreement. Both attorneys from each side reviewed this agreement. This really protects the interests of both parties as far as liability. The license agreement would allow the mayor to sign off on behalf of the city and then the city clerk to attest to that. 211 North Riverside will really be the hub of their productions. They're going to have staging at Pot Park with their heavy equipment. They're going to have hotel stays throughout St. Charles, a lot of which will take place at Hotel Baker, and then some on the far east side. Then, of course, the downtown greater area of St. Charles will be used for filming, and they are going to have a lot of dining options for staff and actors alike at all of our area restaurants. So it makes sense to kind of centralize their hub. And once again, Mr. Peppers looked at this with their attorney, and either he or myself can answer any questions you might have.
This is great, Chief. How many crew and actors do you know?
We've been told that each and every day, and most of their filming is going to be at night, there could be upwards of about 150.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's part of the entire production. As far as how many are actresses or actors
Yeah, no,
or actresses,
gotcha.
I don't know, but
No, that's fine.
it is going to be a large-scale production with a lot of
Thank
lighting
you.
crews, film crews, and such.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
What's the time frame?
This is going to take place over about a 10-day period. It's going to start in early March, and then it should finish up right after our St. Patrick's Day parade.
Thank you. Anyone? Yes,
Chief, I know we gave permission to close a couple of streets down before in the past. Unless I totally missed it in the packet or something, what kind of movie is being filmed, I guess? I'm just curious. Did they ever say? Is it like an action? Okay.
It's an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the movie is called Killer or Killers. There's going to be some really nice scenes towards the end of it at some of our downtown locations. We're going to be featured in probably about 15 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
So we're pretty excited about it.
Dave's gonna try to get it.
Yeah, can I be an extra? No, I'm just
I do have a question. Were there any, other than the street closures, were there any other disruptions around the city that you guys recognized and considered? I mean, was there anything else? Because I've been thinking about, like, if you guys have the street closures, like, under control, that seems awesome, but I just want to make sure that I did not ask the question.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about it 2 weeks ago, but I'll just kind of refresh the council's memory. So there is going to be some intermittent closings of some of our residential streets that we worked out with the petitioner. There is a resolution that we've passed that we've forwarded on to IDOT for a partial closure of Route 64 or Main Street. But once again, a lot of those closures are going to take place after hours. Some of the filming will be done after midnight. I think there's going to be limited disruption. A lot of the filming is going to take place in the Hotel Baker and then the back garden. So there is going to be some street scenes. Riverside Ave, directly to my left, right outside here is one scene. There's a couple on Illinois Bridge, some on Main Street right in front of the Baker.
Right. I remember the street closures, but I just want to make sure that I asked. There was nothing other than that even to think about. I'm glad that they're doing here, and I'd love to be really supportive. It sounds like a campaign.
Yeah, we've had probably a half dozen meetings with them, and their production, this crew has been out and done this many times across the United States and abroad, so their planning has been phenomenal. I'm pretty confident that we're going to put together a nice special event for everybody involved.
That gives me a lot of confidence.
Okay, looking for a motion for item B.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Lencioni, second by Petrillo. Tracy, please call the roll.
Besser?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulkaitis?
Yes.
Bava?
Yes.
Hayleitner?
Yes.
Bongard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrola?
Yes.
Wirball?
Yes.
And item C, Chief, did you have anything to add?
Well, let me just read it into the record, and I'll just make a couple of brief comments. This is a recommendation to approve a licensing agreement with Airboat Productions, LLC, for the use of the city's west side parking deck, located generally at Illinois Street and First Street in St. Charles. Once again, the same parameters. Both attorneys worked on this from each side, protects our liability interests. What's important to note is we talked about a lot of different parking solutions for them. The fifth level of the deck, because there is a gate option past the fourth level, allows them maybe to really have a more secure access for their staff. Once again, a lot of this filming is going to be at night. They're going to be visiting a lot of the restaurants that are going to be opened up later at night. It's well lit. Public Works has agreed to make sure we had the appropriate snow removal should we have inclement weather. They're going to provide security on site. They've given us all the documentation that we need with the licensing agreement, so I think it makes the best sense to use the fifth level of the deck. Can answer any other questions you might have.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Lencioni, seconded by Petrillo. Tracy, please call the roll.
Besser?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulkaitis?
Yes.
Bava?
Yes.
Hayleitner?
Yes.
Bongard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrola?
Yes.
Wirball?
Yes.
Thank you. Item D, recommendation to approve an ordinance confirming and extending the declared state of emergency within the city of St. Charles due to COVID-19 pandemic until the next regularly scheduled city council meeting.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved by Besner, seconded by Bancroft. Tracy, please call the roll.
Besser?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulkaitis?
No.
Bava?
Yes.
Hayleitner?
No.
Bongard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrola?
No.
Wirball?
Yes.
Thank you. Items E and F, I believe, are going to be covered by Colleen Lavery, the interim finance director.
Hi. At the January 3rd meeting, you approved the abatement of debt from our property tax for all bond issues prior to 2021. As I mentioned at that time, we had debt issuance at 2021A and 2021B that closed on December 30th. So these two ordinances abate those principal and interest payments that need to be paid in our fiscal 22 or calendar 2022. And just as a reminder, the 2020A bond was some new money, about $7.9 million, but the remainder of that was a refunder in which we saved $488,000 over the next several years. And then the 2021B was a complete refunding of the TIF debt, and we saved almost $3.5 million in interest payments over the next 20 years.
Good. Thank you. Just to read item E, recommendation to approve an ordinance abating the annual tax for 2021 for general obligation corporate purpose bonds, Series 2021A. Any questions?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Alderman Haley.
Just a comment. Thank you, Colleen, great. And I can't help but notice a bigger smile on Colleen's face now that she has a new boss coming in, so.
More revenue, less.
Yeah, and that too, yeah, thank you, wonderful.
Thank you.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Weber, seconded by Alderman Paylor. Tracy, please call the roll.
Besner?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulturitis?
Yes.
Bava?
Yes.
Payleitner?
Yes.
Bonegard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrola?
Yes.
Wirball?
Yes.
Thank you. And then item F is a recommendation to approve an ordinance abating the annual tax for 2021 for general obligation corporate purpose refunding bond series 2021B.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Petrola, seconded by Wirball. Any questions on that one? Tracy, please call the roll.
Besner?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulturitis?
Yes.
Bava?
Yes.
Payleitner?
Yes.
Bonegard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Lencioni?
Yes.
Petrola?
Yes.
Wirball?
Yes.
Thank you. Committee reports, government operations, Alderman Flores, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Government services, Alderman Besner, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Planning and development, Alderman Weber, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
I have a few comments, or actually a couple birthdays. We have a missed one, and he's not getting out of it. Spicy P, otherwise known as Nick Pepper. Birthday was on January 11th. Happy birthday. Now everyone knows.
Did you just make that up, by the way?
What'd you say?
Did you just make that up, by the way?
No, I did not.
Oh.
You know, his face is red. Just like a red pepper. Anyway, Alderman Weber's birthday was Sunday. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy
birthday.
And this one is special to me too because my daughter's birthday is on the same day. Alderman Paylor, your birthday's on the 5th. Grace's birthday is also on the 5th.
Yes, oh, wonderful.
So happy birthday to all of you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone on council have any comments? Does staff have any comments? Do we have comments from the public this evening? Hi, Mike. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Michael Linder, and I live at 531 South 12th Street on the city's west side. I represent the 6th generation of my family in St. Charles, so when I suggest to you, Madam Mayor, and ladies and gentlemen of the council, that there's need for action and improvement, it's not from an uninformed position. As we begin a new year, it's time to take a new look at our city. There's an inadequate degree of attention, in my estimation, by city government on the subject of human rights. I look back 2 weeks ago, the event you all witnessed in the Government Operations Committee meeting when a citizen was humiliated by the actions and words of the chairperson because of his perceived sexual orientation. Now, I'll note that this is a citizen who'd been here 3 previous times, once as the president of the local pride organization, once as he was sworn in as a member of the Natural Resources Commission of the city, one of your committees, and once when he came in to talk to you about having been beaten in a parking lot in broad daylight in St. Charles by a member of a group of bullies that had bothered a lot of other people. He happened to be the only one that ever was physically assaulted. And unfortunately, because the police and the state's attorney felt they couldn't persuade witnesses who they had identified to come forward, even though the police knew who the assailant was, nothing happened with that. But you had met him on 3 previous occasions. This was a young man who serves your community in a couple of ways. He's been here only a couple of years. Really felt quite at home here, felt like this was going to be his lifelong home. Now he has some doubts because of some things that happened. A few of you reached out, I appreciate that. A couple of you actually apologized for what happened. Some others made excuses for it, and that's, what is it they say, none is so blind as those who will not see. I'll go on with that, though. That's not the whole story. We have a Hispanic Latino population in excess of 10% in St. Charles, some estimate it to be as high as 13%. And the total population of people of color is approaching 20%. Those numbers are not reflected on the council, on the commissions and boards, nor in the numbers are not reflected in the employee base of the city of St. Charles. Our record on affordable housing is mediocre. Reading reports, I sometimes get the feeling that we're more concerned about meeting the calculation goals than the housing needs of the community. Reading the most recent Housing Commission report minutes, it appears that the bulk of the affordable housing in the city is restricted to seniors. As a man in his golden years, I applaud efforts to provide for my aging brothers and sisters, but what about the low-income working class, many of them working families? As St. Charles strives to attract more entertainment, hospitality businesses, we often attract more low-paying jobs. Where are these employees to live? And are we taking a look at the quality of our low-cost housing stock? Are landlords being held accountable for health and safety conditions on their property? Occupancy limits? I suggest that the City of St. Charles need to engage in a complete audit of its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, actions, and goals. And the first step be diversity training for the senior staff and the elected officials. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for being here. I know that I've had conversations with both you and Mike, and so have some of our city staff as well as some of the aldermen, as you mentioned.
Thank you.
I do know you bring up a very important topic. Diversity, equity, inclusion is something that, a topic that is very close to my heart. And being in this office for 8 months, I can assure you that is something that our staff are looking into and working on, and I know the city council values those topics as well.
And I know there's been a lot of pushback in the schools, both here and in Geneva, but I do believe that we can develop the courage here to confront these issues.
Yes, so I do appreciate you coming tonight
Thank you.
and speaking on behalf of Michael and the topic of diversity, equity.
I'm speaking more on behalf of the community than anything else, because I think there are a lot of places where we could improve.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I do believe that Alderman Slokaitis would like to
Yeah, I
make
do want to
some comments.
address what I take full responsibility for what I did the other night. I apologize for using the wrong pronoun for Michael Stroud. That was my fault. I take full responsibility for it.
But you were corrected 5 times, Ron.
I know, you're right, and it was a very noisy night. I'm not making excuses.
Okay.
I'm just setting the scene for it, and I apologize for that. It was not my intention to show any disrespect to anybody at all. I did call Michael Stroud last Monday, and I tried to talk to him. I did leave a message with him, and I apologized again for my actions that night. So I hope you accept my apologies for what happened. That was not intentional whatsoever.
I appreciate you speaking up this evening. But anyway, I think some of those other issues are just as important. I go back to this town. I got a kick out of looking at the pictures of the Hotel Baker because my grandfather was the custodian of the hotel back in the 1920s, and my father was an usher there. It's an important thing to me that we take care of this town. Paul, your family's been here forever. Ron, yours has been here a long time, and both your grandfathers.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So,
Thank you, Michael.
Good night.
Appreciate it. Are there any more comments from the public this evening? Okay. If not, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Wirbel, seconded by Petrilla. Tracy, please call the roll.
Bessner?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Slokaitis?
Yes.
Fala?
Yes.
Hayleitner?
Yes.
Bonegard?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Monsioni?
Yes.
Petrilla?
Yes.
Wirbel?
Yes.